Hello and welcome back to another Down the Line episode. So we're going for something a little different today. I'm actually now stood at the Great Central Railway. I haven't been here since I was 3 years old when my dad took me for a day out with Thomas, and all I remember is I was scared by Thomas's whistle. But nonetheless, this is going to be a fantastic day. I can't really remember what it was like, but I'm not here alone. I've got the wonderful Graham back with me. How are you, mate?
I'm great, thank you. Yeah, this is, I'll say, it's great to be doing something like this again, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'll say this is about my fourth time here. Last time I was here was 5 years ago, so it'd be nice to come back and see if there's any more little extras. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
That, it will be good. I think our last railway was actually the, was it the Severn Valley?
Severn Valley.
Was our last heritage railway?
September, yeah.
Yeah, so
September.
quite a while ago now. So it's good to finally be back on another heritage line. So the plan for today is we're starting at Rothley, which is a very beautifully preserved station. This is really, really nice. It's an island platform station. And then from here, we're going to head on to Leicester North. And then from there, we're going to go back all the way down the other end towards Cornham Woodhouse and then on to Loughborough. So I think we've got quite a jam-packed day in, so I'm going to get as much as I can. We've just been speaking to one of the volunteers. I think they've got an extra steam service, so we'll get as much footage of that as we possibly can, as well as one of the diesel services. And then also we're going to, as usual, go through the historical side of things and talk to you more about the line itself. But enjoy this one as much as we will, and welcome back to Down the Line. So it's a common theme with preserved lines that they are jam-packed with railway history, and straight away, I quite like this. They've got a little bit of signage up. It says, after 64 years of operation, Rothley closed to passengers along with Cornham Woodhouse and another station called Belgrave and Birstall on the 4th of March 1963. It does say goods facilities remained for a little bit longer, and happily thanks to the efforts of volunteers, steam trains returned in 1975. With a regular passenger service resuming from early 1976. So it just goes to show, when people band together, things can come back and prosper. They have included a picture. I'm just going to turn around now, and it's that one, which is one of the final trains to call at Rothley in early March 1963. And I think that's a really, really cool picture. You can see just on the right hand side here, there's a bit of a mound, and if you turn around, it's a car park. But obviously, being a place with quite a few visitors, you need somewhere to park your car, so needs must, I suppose. But no, our service is about 10:20, so we've got about 20 odd minutes or so.
20 minutes.
Yeah, 20 minutes to have a little nosy more around here, and then onwards with the day. Exciting. Rothley was opened in 1899 as part of the Great Central Railway's London extension, which was built to a standard island platform pattern which we'd see along country stations along the line. When Rothley was restored, it was brought back to a late Edwardian style, and interestingly, the station is also Grade 2 listed. It also came with a goods yard and a goods shed, as well as coal station, and you can see evidence of this as you arrive in the car park. But no matter, as the time came to 10:20, our first train of the day arrived into the platform and our day out began. So we took our seats to the next station of Leicester North. Okay, so our journey has started. So, next station is Leicester North. But what I thought I would do before we look at the stations and their history, I thought let's have a little look at the Great Central Railway itself, its history of the line when it was back in service, and also its preservation years. So it's going to be a very interesting one, this, so I hope you enjoy it. The Great Central Railway was formed when the Manchester, Sheffield and Lincolnshire Railway changed its name in 1897 in anticipation for the opening of its London extension in 1899. And just over 2 decades later, it was grouped into the London North Eastern Railway. Interestingly, the Great Central Railway was the first railway granted a coat of arms on the 25th of February 1898. And upon full completion of the line, you had a direct route from its London terminus at Marylebone up through the likes of Aylesbury, Leicester and Nottingham, before heading on to Manchester and the old station of Sheffield Victoria. The line was the last complete main line to be built in Britain until HS1 in 2003, and also its steam-hauled express to Sheffield was the fastest in the country. Sadly, during the 1960s, sections of the line were closed down, although part of the old line is still active, which goes from Aylesbury Vale Parkway to London Marylebone. As the years went by, parts of the line fell into huge decline and disuse, with these busy stations becoming a thing of the past. But that was until 1974, when the Great Central Railway returned as a heritage railway, using an 8-mile section of line between Loughborough and Leicester North. It was also the only double-track heritage railway in the world. Right, so first stop, Leicester North. That was a bit of a loud entrance there as we come in with the steam engine there. So there's a little kid, bless him, stood right, not too close obviously, but he was stood near it on the platform, and obviously with it wheeshing out like that, it scared the absolute living daylights out of him. And you know what, that brings back a bit of a memory for me when I was here when I was 3 years old. Like I said, I was here on a day out with Thomas, and Thomas come in, done a whistle, scared the absolute crap out of me, and I cried. I was 3 years old, so I can let myself off on that one, but no, I'm not the only one that it's happened to here, so but all the same. So we've got about an hour and 15 minutes at Leicester North, so we're gonna have a little look around, and as I said, with each station we're gonna go through its history. Leicester North is the southern terminus of the Great Central Railway Heritage Line, although this was never part of the old main line. Just north of the station, there used to be a station called Belgrave and Birstall, which opened in 1899 and closed in 1963. A preservation group was set up in 1968 with the aim of restoring the station. However, because of a high amount of vandalism that followed for a number of years, it was deemed that the old station was too dangerous for work to commence. So in 1977, the decision was made to demolish it. Although 14 years later, the station at Leicester North was completed in 1991 with a grand opening featuring a host of locomotives, featuring Stephenson's rocket from the Railway Museum. So there you go, 2 stations done so far and plenty of history. This line has it all, and I have to say, they hadn't have probably got rid of this fully, HS2 probably wouldn't have been as expensive as it is, but that's for another time. So next up is Corn and Woodhouse, which takes us back past Rothley. And as you can see behind me, our steam service is ready to enter to take us there. So I'll see you next time at Corn and Woodhouse, and some more history, of course. As we headed back up north and back past Rothley, our next stop takes us to the very pretty Corn and Woodhouse station, which again opened in 1899 and closed in 1963. The station is also Grade 2 listed and is set out in a 1940s wartime style, so if you go and check out the waiting rooms, they have plenty of films on show as well as things dotted around the station from that era. As you also look around, there are a few sidings with plenty of wagons and also a 60-foot turntable which was built in 1909, which saw most of its use up in the old roundhouse at York. The signal box is also not original here, as it was taken from Market Raisin up in Lincolnshire, as well as a lovely cafe for you to sit down and enjoy some food as you watch the trains go by. Well, there you go, so the third station of the day, and there is an incredible history, as you've just heard there, about Corn and Woodhouse. Not only that, as we approach, as you may have seen, there's a bit of a yard with loads of rolling stock wagons, etc. So we're going to go and have a look at that. But this is an extremely charming station, and this station seems to be dedicated quite a lot to the war effort, as we just had a little look at, and it's so in keeping. And this is what I've said this before about heritage railways, and I'm going to say it again. It's keeping that historical aspect alive for people like me, Graham, for example, who missed out on all of that, to really come and have a look at things back in their heyday. And yeah, it does put it into perspective, doesn't it, mate?
It really does, yeah. And I mean, for like you can experience like they have a war day here, so you can experience what it's like, people dressed up in war uniforms and stuff. So it's really interesting to see that. So you know what it was like during the war, you know. So it's really lovely, I think. Yeah,
like I said, it's in keep, and you need that perspective, I think, to look back at the past and think this is how things were, and celebrate, you know, good times, good periods. Well, obviously not the war itself, but in terms of the victory that came out of it, etc. But yeah, so we've got about an hour here, so we're gonna have a little look around and then await our service up to Loughborough, which will be the last station of the day. But we've got more history for you. Okay, so we are now at our final station of Loughborough Central, and it is an incredibly great station that we just passed. There's a yard with a 47, a couple of DMUs, a 37, and as soon as we got off, before we dive into the historical side of things, I just saw this. It's a board where it talks about different films and TV series that have been filmed here. So just to name a few, in terms of the films, not too familiar. However, in terms of the TV side of things, you've got The Railways That Built Britain, which Chris Tarrant done, Victoria, Happy Valley, Casualty, Great British Railway Journeys, of course, Michael Portillo, which was the inspiration for Down the Line, and also Top Gear. Now, that was a brilliant episode where Jeremy Clarkson had the TGV-12 caravan train, and James and Richard had the very weird looking 4 caravans train with the Audi at the front. I mean, just for them to have filmed that here, that must have been brilliant. But yeah, just to name a few. So we're going to have another little look around here, and there's a museum, so we'll check that out as well. But before we head back, let's dive in again to the history of Loughborough Central. Loughborough Central was also built to the standard island platform arrangement that you see along this line, and it also has unique features, as it is the only station with a complete canopy, and it is the longest canopy in railway preservation. The station closed 6 years later than the other stations in 1969, as it fell under the axe of Dr. Beechin. The station has a couple of shops, as well as its old-style ticket office in the main entrance up towards the road. There is also a lot more to see here than the station itself, as I will soon show you. I did say this railway was packed full of history, and like I said, with the 4 locomotives just to the side of me that you just saw, that was fantastic. And the Network Southeast livery is one of the best that have ever existed. Feel free to disagree, but Aquafresh toothpaste is the best. So our next train is in just over an hour's time. So what me and Graham are now going to do is have a walk over to the locomotive shed and works and have a look, see what else is there, as well as pop into the museum. So just enjoy this footage coming up before we head back to Rothley and end the day. There you go, a trip to the Great Central Railway all done. And for my first time since I was 3 years old, that was absolutely brilliant. It's a great line, the stations are charming, exactly what you expect and worth every penny. And I just want to say thank you very much to Graham for taking me, for driving me along.
No problem at all. Been really great. I've enjoyed it. So
it has. It really has.
So it's been about my 4th time, so you know I've learned a lot today as I did from the previous times I've been. So yeah.
Exactly. It's always a learning curve, and like I said, when you get history, there's plenty to see and do. And it was great also to see a peak as well. It's the first time I've ever seen one running in the flesh, so that was brilliant. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. We've gone a bit of the past and present as well, so yeah, I think the thinking cap needs to come back on and get some more ideas down. But thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next time in another episode of Down the Line.